Hey there, skeptics and true believers and everyone in between. This episode, we're going to dive into something that's not so paranormal. We're going to get into homeopathy a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. Alright, so this episode of Ghost in the Machine was actually inspired by Nick Little. And some of you, maybe many of you, might be saying, who's Nick Little? Well, I'll let him tell you.
Story. Who are you? Who's Nick Little, and what do you do?
Way to put me on the spot right away. I'm a lawyer. Yeah, that's always a big hit at parties, by the way. It's like, yeah. I'm the in-house lawyer for the Center for Inquiry. So CFI constituted, made up of CSH and CSI. Here, we're more on the CSI side, we tend to be.
So that clip you just saw was from my Friday night live show called The Skeptical Help Bar. Once in a while, I get to have a guest on, and I get to pick their brain about what they specialize in. And since Nick is a lawyer, and a lawyer for an organization that deals with a lot of fringe topics and science and a lot of bullshit out there, I thought he would be the perfect person to talk to about ghost hunters. And that was the original intention of the show, to talk about ghost hunters going into private residences and the legalities of that. Like, could they be held liable for damaging stuff in the house if they go in, like investigating private houses? Could they be held liable for telling the homeowners that the place is infested with demons and now the family can't live there anymore because they're so scared? All that kind of stuff. But during the course of the show, the conversation turned to homeopathy. And we started talking about the CFI case against CVS, because CVS has been selling homeopathic products right next to real science-based medicine in their stores. And there was a particular product that Nick was telling us about, and I can't pronounce it. He's going to pronounce it for you.
Acylococcinum.
So I was really curious after this show, and my wife and I actually went to CVS to see if we could find it. Was this true? Was this stuff being sold right next to other science-based medicine in the cold and flu aisle? Let's find out. So, part of this video, we're gonna get the drug, the alleged drug that we're gonna test, or part of the test, and naturally we come to CVS.
Acylococcinum.
Body aches, headache, fever, flu-like symptoms. So this says the active ingredient is Anis barbarii. I don't know what that is. Well, I didn't know what it was until I interviewed Nick, and he told me exactly what it was. And again, I'm going to give him credit. He's starring in this video a lot, so I might actually have to pay him a commission.
The biggest selling homeopathic product in the United States is Acylococcinum, which is a flu remedy. And this is the heart and liver of a particular kind of duck, the Muscovy duck, diluted to the power of 200 C, which means there is 1 part duck liver to 10 to the power of 400 parts water. 10 to the power of 400 is an astonishingly large number.
Yeah.
How large is that, Nick? I hear you all ask.
Yeah.
Well, there are 10 to the power of 80 atoms in the known universe.
That's a lot. Like, that means there's nothing left in the medicine of the duck heart and liver, basically. That's what that means. Yeah. So you're not getting any medicine. You're buying a fucking sugar pill. Anyway, on to the next part. Why are there quotation marks around the word uses? What's going on there? So, I'm not a grammar teacher. I don't have a degree in teaching people how to write, but I do try my best. Anyway, so I looked up the use of quotation marks. And I found several uses. One is for when you want to use a direct quote. Like if somebody awesome, like me, said something like really inspiring, and you want to use it in an article or something, then you put quotes around what I said, and then you reference it. You can also use it to set off certain words. Like, for instance, if I say the words actual and science do not apply to homeopathy. I mean, that's a great example. That's showing you, like, I'm actually singling out those words to apply my meaning to it. There you go. So, and then there's also, when you use, like, titles of newspapers and books and essays and stuff like that, sometimes people put quotations around it. And then there's another use. And this is to indicate that the word is used ironically, or with reservations, or you have some unusual meaning for it. Basically, that you're meaning, like, bullshit. You know, and that's what I think is being used here. I think the word uses is put in quotes because they don't believe it themselves. All right, back to the video.
What's the prescription number?
200 CK.
Company.
Right. They have their own brand. What is this? What is this? Compare to the active ingredient in barium. Whatever that word is. What's the active ingredient? It's the same thing. So not only are they selling this crap that I can't pronounce,
Acylococcinum.
Thanks, Nick, but they're cashing in on it themselves by selling their own brand of this crap. Ugh. I mean, seriously, what does a duck heart and liver have to do with the flu? It doesn't. I mean, people actually eat that stuff. They eat duck. They eat that stuff, and it doesn't get them sick. So why would it cure? I don't know. I mean, let's look at the principles here. And again, I'm gonna defer to the interview that I did with Nick, where he explains what the two laws, and I'm using air quotes, laws of homeopathic medicine are. So take it away, Nick.
Homeopathy has two basic principles. First principle is that like treats like. So if something causes a problem, it will then cure the problem. Doesn't work with gunshots particularly well. It's
Dog bites, drowning.
kind of, yeah. It's kind of like almost a vaccination concept, but it's not, because this all came about in the late 18th century in Germany, before we understood the germ theory of medicine. That's the first of the two things. That's the sensible one of the two things, which is disturbing. The second is, as Mr. Guy has just told us, the law of infinitesimals. It is the more that you dilute a medical product, a homeopathic product, the stronger it gets. And so you take one part of the product to 100 parts of water. That is 1C dilution. For a 2C dilution, you take one part of that dilutant to another 100 parts of water.
So at this point in the interview, I did have a little tiny experiment prepared for Nick and for the viewers. And I really wanted to do this because I figured, I deal with a lot of visuals. I like showing people and demonstrating, like, right to them how something works or doesn't work. And I think that is more impactful than just telling them. So what I did was I actually had 10 shot glasses set up, and I put water in each of them. I put 100 drops of water in each of them, and I took a drop of rum because I love rum, And I put one in one of the shot glasses, mixed it up, and this was during the break. So I actually did it during the break. Nobody had to actually sit there and watch me do this. But I did the whole homeopathic thing. So I made a 10C rum remedy. And we were messing with it because during the show, we are allowed to partake in some adult beverages. So I figured, you know what? If this law of like cures like was going to happen, then at the end of the show, I should take this 10C remedy and it should, cure me of my intoxication. It didn't, but we did it anyway. And then after the show, I was talking to my wife, who is she produces my show, so she monitors the comments and stuff like that, and keeps me on target, keep the show rolling. And she actually stopped me and said, "You know what? That little experiment really hit it home for me." She's like, I hear the things, I hear people talking about it, I hear Nick explaining it, and I hear, other people when we've gone to like SciCon, we've heard people talk about it. But she's like, it didn't sink in until I saw you do it. And when she saw me actually mix everything and shake it up and mix it again, then it really got into her head. Like, wow, this is bullshit. Based on that and further conversation, I was like, this would make a good video. And my wife was like, yeah, I think you should do this because people that don't understand or maybe just have a passing idea of what it is, they might not really get it until they see it. So we're going to do a bigger experiment. We're going to do a 200C rum remedy. So let's do some science. I'm going to put my lab coat on. Now I'm ready to do some science. Let's go. That table was too small. Needed a bigger one. Boom. So I have my 200 cups set up and I have my little syringe. I'm going to start filling them up with 100 drops of water. It's going to take a long time. I'm going to speed up the video. All filled with 100 drops of water. You can see they're all filled. Yay! Just giving you an idea so you don't think I'm cheating. There you go. Whew. Only took me about an hour. So many drops. I'm gonna have nightmares. All right, so we got the cups all set up. There's 200 cups. And to go on to the next step of making our homeopathic rum cure, we picked up some rum, cruising. They are not a sponsor of this video, but it's hurricane proof, which means it's 137 proof. Pretty strong shit. So by the first rule of homeopathic processes, this 200C that we're doing will make it more potent. It's going to make it more potent. So that's weird. But then the idea later on, after we're done this, after we get done, so the process, let me get that at first. The process is we're going to put a drop of this in the first one of this, shake it up. We're going to put a cap on it, shake it up, and then take a drop out of that and put it in the next one, because the first one is 1C. So a drop of this in the 100 drops of this first container is 1C. And then we mix it up, take a drop out of that, put it in the second one, that's 2C. And we're going to go all the way up to 200, which is supposed to make it a more potent cure. Because if we go into the next rule in the process, as in like cures alike, that's one of the homeopathic statements. Bullshit. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know how they do that. But anyway, they say like cures alike, which means for science, I'm going to get drunk, which is probably one of my favorite experiments ever, because I can drink this, get intoxicated, and then the alleged cure that we get from this should sober me up. It should cure me if we're following their practices. So that's the whole point of this. So yay, science! But let's get to shaking. One drop. There we go. One drop. This is going to take a while. Yay! So there you go. You are looking at the world's first homeopathic 200C rum remedy. So this should cure my drunkenness and my hangover, I guess, because the rum will cause both, because step 3 is to go get drunk. Okay, so I'm not going to show you the part where I was drinking and all that, because you don't need to see that, and it, because I act silly. Anyway, so basically, later that night, I did a live stream show, and I explained the experiment to all the viewers, and they were loving it. They thought it was great, because it really showed them, the more I explained it, and from showing them on the last episode of that live stream, they thought this was a great idea. So I went ahead with it. I had a few drinks, as you can see up here. I had a few drinks during the show, and I was feeling pretty good afterwards. I mean, I'm definitely not going to show you any clips of that because it turned out really bad. But anyway, I took the homeopathic remedy, which was in the little bottle, and you can see that in this clip here. It didn't work. Surprise! But I really didn't expect it to. But all I wanted to do was actually show viewers the process, like how much is involved, like how little there is of any active ingredient. And I'm going to stress this again because I can't stress this enough, because people are wasting so much money and time and their health on stuff like this. So I'm going to play one more clip, just not two, one more clip from the video interview, from my interview with Nick Little. And he's going to explain just how little, non-existent, of the active ingredient is in that homeopathic stuff that we talked about.
Acylococcinum.
Thanks.
Diluted to the power of 200 C, which means there is 1 part duck liver to 10 to the power of 400 parts water. 10 to the power of 400 is an astonishingly large number.
Yeah.
How large is that, Nick? I hear you all ask.
Yeah.
Well, there are 10 to the power of 80 atoms in the known universe. Right. So it is a scientific impossibility that any of that duck liver is there.
And with that, I'm going to close out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the demonstration, the visuals from this video help to really drive home the point that homeopathic products do not work. The active ingredient that they claim is in that pill, or whatever you take, the pill, because I've seen it in pill form only, it's not really there. It's not there. What you get is a sugar pill. Look on the back. The weight, by weight, the inactive ingredients make up the total weight of that pill. There is no room for the active ingredient. And basically, I mean, I don't know what they do. If they take a sugar pill and they put a drop on it and say, oh, look, it's coated, which is just ridiculous. It's just, the entire thing is ridiculous. Please don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your health on these kind of products. Go to science-based medicine. Talk to your doctor, like a medical doctor, not a homeopathic person or somebody that sets up a booth at a conference with pamphlets that say that their essential oils can cure fucking cancer. And that's all I got to say about that. So, if you like the video, please like it. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, and never stop learning. See you next time.